Welcome back to Anchor TV Weekly. I'm Raymond Bakari. Coming up, the results of the 2023-2024 class elections, then a brand new segment called The Healthier You, and as always, a recap of Rhode Island College's most recent sports games. Our first story this afternoon, students looking to have their written poetry published are in luck. The Anchor newspaper is holding a holiday poetry contest. Writers at RIC are encouraged to share their creativity with members of the campus community by submitting a poem. The contest doesn't have a specific theme, but those who plan to submit an entry are asked to focus on keeping their writing light and spreading the holiday spirit. There will be a total of 2 winners, one for the month of November and the other in December. For this month, the deadline is November 21st at noon. Those entries submitted for November's contest that don't end up winning will then be carried over into the contest for December. Submissions can be sent to Sierra Tansey, the Anchor's art director, via email at artdirector@anchorweb.org. Additional questions can also be sent to that email. Tansey asks that the entries be submitted in either a Word or PDF format. The winners this month will be notified via email with a custom congratulations certificate, and the entry itself will be published on the Anchor's website on Wednesday, November 22nd. Shifting to what's going on this week at RIC, the latest Where in the Rick is Gerald event is scheduled for Tuesday. Where in the Rick is Gerald is named after Gerald, which is what members of the RIC community called the turkeys that could be seen roaming around the parking lots on campus. From 11 a.m. to noon, students can look for the stuffed turkey on campus and bring it back to RIC's Student Life Office in the Student Union. Whoever finds the stuffed turkey and returns it will win a prize. Student Activities, who are sponsoring this event, will have on their Instagram account, @RIC Student Activities, what the prize is. In other news, it is now known who all the 2023-2024 class officers are. After a couple of extensions, all the elections have come and gone. For the freshman class, Caleb Botello is the class president. Jordan Ross is the vice president, Catherine Nobre is the secretary, and Alejandra Torres Morales is the treasurer. For the sophomore class, Orly Juarez is the class president, Miguel Hoyos is the vice president, Riley Jackman is the secretary, and Nyla DeRehi is the treasurer. The junior class will not be active during this academic year. The reason why is there are a few positions that no eligible candidate had pulled paperwork for. In the event there was a student in each position, that class president would have been Tristan LaCourse. In regard to the budget that the junior class would have been able to use for events, Anchor TV is told that the funding goes back into Student Community Government's general fund. For the senior class, the president is Gianna Delmonico, the vice president is Sharon Brower, the secretary is Ashley Godfrin, and the treasurer is William Dempsey. Speaking of elections, tomorrow is Election Day in Rhode Island. The main election on political analysts' minds is the open 1st Congressional District. This district became open earlier this year after Congressman David Cicilline stepped down from his position to lead the Rhode Island Foundation. On that ballot, the candidates are Democrat Gabe Amo and Republican Gary Leonard. Analysts predict Amo will win due to how blue the 1st Congressional District is, which encompasses the eastern side of Rhode Island. Recent polling by Salve Regina shows Amo leading with 46% of respondents saying they would vote for him and 35% saying they would vote for Leonard. The poll also has 15% of respondents undecided on who they're going to vote for. Whoever ends up winning will have to shift back into campaign mode quickly, as they'll be up for re-election next November. And in Providence, folks who live in State Senate District 1 have a choice between Democrat Jake Basilian and Republican Nyoka Powell. Anchor TV recently hosted a 1-hour debate for this race that could be viewed on our YouTube channel. There are also special referendum ballot questions in North Kingston and East Greenwich that voters there can vote in. Now for RIC students, there will be a table at the Donovan Dining Center you can stop by Tuesday if you're unsure about where you could vote and who is running. That table goes from noon to 1 p.m. If you can't stop by Donovan Dining Center during that time, you could also visit vote.sos.ri.gov. It's starting to get colder this time of the year in the Ocean State. For some, that means the holidays are coming up, but it could also mean the flu and COVID season are upon us, which it is. Anchor TV is starting a brand new segment called The Healthier You, which is a PSA series overseen by our production manager, Mel Rising Dawn, who is also a certified health education specialist. In her first edition of this segment, Mel talks about the COVID and flu vaccines, providing important information for students to know. Here's that segment.
Hi, I'm Mel Rising Dawn. I'm a certified health education specialist, and I'm here with a Healthier You check-in. Fall is in the air, and unfortunately, so is the flu. Before flu season gets fully underway, it's important to get your flu and your COVID shots. According to the CDC, the 2022-2023 flu season was moderately severe throughout the United States. This means that there were millions of people tested and hundreds of thousands of confirmed cases. While flu levels have returned to relatively the same level they were at before the pandemic, cases of the flu were reported 4 to 6 weeks earlier than usual and peaked around the holiday season. About 650,000 people were hospitalized, and about 58,000 deaths can be attributed to the flu. In 2022, COVID was listed as an underlying or contributing cause of death for 245,000 people in the U.S. alone. Here in New England, COVID-related deaths were the lowest in the country, with about 50 deaths per 100,000 positive cases. This season is not looking too much better. It's predicted this year's season will also have an earlier start, with peaks expected around the holiday season. COVID cases are also on the upswing. Incidences of COVID are not predicted to reach the levels they were during the pandemic. It's difficult to predict how many people will be hospitalized or how many people will pass away, but there are things that you and I can do to lessen that probability. Hand hygiene is important. Washing your hands can help to stop the spread of any germ. Wash your hands after handling raw foods, using the bathroom, before and after meal times, after coughing or blowing your nose, and anytime they're visibly dirty. The most important thing, however, is to get vaccinated. Flu and COVID vaccines can aid in preventing you from getting both illnesses. You will not get sick from the vaccine. People who get these shots are actually 52% more likely to remain flu and COVID-free and out of the hospital. Every year, the World Health Organization reviews flu and COVID data from the previous year. This includes tracking the most commonly reported strains. The WHO will then make a recommendation to the Food and Drug Administration's Vaccine and Related Biological Products Advisory Committee. This committee will then choose the appropriate vaccine for the most common strains. Vaccines have come a long way since they were first marketed. There is an alternative to the traditional egg-based shot that now enables everyone to get vaccinated. Instead of using eggs, these versions of the vaccines use cells from the virus directly. That being said, the CDC is recommending that everyone 5 months of age and older get a flu shot, and those 6 months and older get the COVID shot or the COVID booster. Be mindful of which brand of vaccine you originally obtained, as it does matter. Vaccines can be obtained, often for free, with proof of insurance at any pharmacy, such as CVS and Walgreens. Doctors' offices, community care centers, and health services here on campus are also offering both vaccines, which can be given at the same time. It's highly suggested that you make an appointment in advance. This has been a Healthier You Check-In. I'm Mel Rising Dawn. Thank you.
And in next week's segment, Mel will be talking about mental health, which is a topic that affects many Rick students. Stay tuned for that in next week's newscast. There's quite a bit of activities going on throughout campus this week. One takes place Wednesday, which is an early holiday ceramic sale. The sale, sponsored by Club Mud, is their biggest yet, featuring work from 14 artists. The sale takes place in Alex and Ani Hall from 11 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. and could be a nice gift to give friends or family during any of the upcoming holidays. Remember, folks, Christmas is around the corner. It's now that time of the newscast. Sports manager Isaac Bean is in studio to recap the latest Rick Sports games. And speaking of gifts, he also recently sat down with both the men's and women's basketball teams coaches for a season preview. Isaac?
Thank you, Raymond. Rhode Island College's women's soccer team's season ended with a 2-1 loss against UMass Boston in the first round of the Little East Championship playoffs. This ended their season with a record of 7-8-3. The men's soccer team entered the playoffs as the 4 seed. They won their first game against the number 5 seeded Eastern Connecticut State University with a score of 2-1. Unfortunately, the Anchorman season ended in similar fashion to the women's team. They also lost to UMass Boston. The score of that game was 4-2. It looks like UMass Boston has our number this year for both of our soccer teams. In other news, the men's and women's basketball seasons are both starting soon. I was able to catch up with both Coach Sam Ferry of the men's team and Coach Jenna Cosgrove of the women's team to get a preview of what both of their expectations are heading into this season.
First 5 games of the year, we play in 10 days. 5 games in 10 days, all on the road. Okay? So, like, the storm is coming for our team, and I'm telling them how we respond to that storm, how we respond to non-conference play is going to determine the type of year that we have. If we respond the right way in January and February, I envision this team having the potential to play really, really good basketball.
Yeah, super excited. Super excited. You know, it's been a couple weeks. We're just playing against each other, and they're ready. We had a great scrimmage against MIT, and they're a great team. They're an NCAA tournament team, so we just got to prove it. You know, there's, you know, with pressure, you know, pressure makes diamonds. You know, only good things come from pressure. So we really have to embrace it. We're not going into games anymore with being like, oh, let's get the upset. We got nothing to lose. But at the same time, we're only concerned with one game at a time and just playing our best.
The women's basketball team is coming off a historic season and has multiple high preseason rankings. This includes being picked number 7 in WPCA's preseason top 25 coaches poll. I asked Coach Cosgrove her thoughts on this ranking.
When I look at it, I see like, oh, Scranton's in front of us, you know, and I don't know who teams bring in. I know what teams lost. But it'll be interesting. I know there's one more poll that comes out, but polls mean nothing unless you prove it. What I'm most excited for is that there's 5 teams on that poll that we play, which will give us great competition. 2 are out in Florida, 1's our home opener, and then 2 more on the road. So it will be a huge test for us to be able to compete and prove ourselves within the poll.
And this is Ferry's first season coaching for the Anchormen. Here's what the Ferry way will look like.
So when I have where I put my keys at home, I have a sheet of paper and it has a question on it. It says, are we, with 3 bullets, are we humble, are we hungry, and are we selfless? Those are the 3 pillars that we stand by. So number 1, are we humble? And to me, like, what does humble mean? To me, humble means we are entitled to nothing. We earn everything we get. We don't want anything handed to us, okay? Whether it's playing time, gear, whatever it is, we're humble. Number 2 is we're hungry, okay? The last 3, you hear my voice right now. The last 3 weeks to start practice, we've been going at 6 a.m., okay? That means we're in the gym at like 5:15, 5:30. All right, yesterday or Monday was our first practice in the evening. But I want guys who, when they open their eyes in the morning, they have something to prove. They're trying to go do something. And then finally, so I said humble, I said hungry. The 3rd one is the most important one to me, and it's selfless. Selfless, okay? I want guys who want to be a part of something that's bigger than themselves.
Both teams' first games are scheduled for this week. The Anchorwomen face Tufts University Friday at home at 6 p.m., and the Anchormen are on the road versus Fitchburg State Wednesday at 7 p.m. That's all for this week's sports recap. In studio, Isaac Bean, Anchor TV. Back to you, Raymond.
Thank you, Isaac. Going back to events happening on campus this week, Wednesday is the First Gen Student Day celebration. For first-generation students at Rick, meaning neither of your parents attended college, there are multiple events on campus for you Wednesday. From 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. on the quad, there will be a free coffee and tea alongside a I Am First photo project. Then from 12 to 2 p.m. in the Student Union Ballroom will be various activities. This includes a resource fair, food, performances, a photo booth, and a smash room. After that, from 3 to 5 p.m., graduating seniors that are first-gen students can meet and connect with first-gen faculty and staff, get their professional headshots taken, and attend an Adulting 101 workshop. To cap that day of events off, from 6 to 8 p.m. in the Student Union Ballroom will be a dinner. During that dinner, students who attend can connect with first-gen alumni, as well as learn about the first-gen scholarship. There are also events going on today. One of those is a Service Recognition Award ceremony presented by the Office of the President at Rick. The ceremony is scheduled to take place at Sappensley Hall from 3 to 4:30 p.m. These awards are going to be awarded to those at Rick who go above and beyond. Nominations for these awards were accepted until October 20th. Footage of this event will be viewable on the Anchor TV YouTube channel. A reminder for students, registration for Spring 2024 classes opens up this week. Registration for degree students at Rick begins on Friday, November 10th. Students can see when registration opens up for them by logging into their MyRick accounts and going to the Student Center page. And as always, every student will have a universal advising hold on their account. To get that hold removed, which is needed in order to sign up for any classes, students will need to be in communication with their academic advisor. Additional questions can be answered by the Records Office either via email at records@rick.edu or by calling 401-456-8213. That's all we have for this week on Anchor TV Weekly. To see future episodes and content by Anchor TV, please click the subscribe button down below. To get even more updates on what's happening at Rick, visit anchorweb.org. From Providence, Rhode Island, I'm Raymond Bakari, and I'll see you next week.